Anyway, what's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video. And if you couldn't tell by that iconic intro, we are taking a look at X-Men 97. The series is fully out now, and I have watched it all, so I am very excited to see, everyone else's opinions. I'm very excited to finally get into the edits and all the TikTok and all the fan drawings and fan art, because I avoided that for so long, but now that I watched it, I can finally get into it, and I can finally get into this review. So, let's get into it. I was so fucking hyped watching this. I was so excited for this, and it did not disappoint. It did not disappoint. It was so good, and I'm saying that right now. But before I get into why I think it's so good, we need to take a look at the story and what Google says about it as well, just to keep your retention time. So, going over to Google, it does say X-Men 97 has 10 episodes, and it is an action. It came out in 2024, and a band of mutants use their uncanny gifts to protect the world that hates and fears them. They challenge like never before, focused to face the dangerous and unexpected new future. So, how this sort of show starts is where we have right where the series left off. We have Jean Grey and Cyclops having a baby, and just everyone else chilling, and they're just vibing around the mansion, not really working hard. And Scott's trying to get them to work hard, and they're just not having any of it. And they find a new kid called Sunspot, and he joins the team. He sort of gets with Jubilee, and then we have all the characters splitting off into their own different stories. So Jubilee gets stuck in a video game, and she fights her way out, which was really fucking cool. One of my favorite episodes. Gambit and Rogue go to the island with Magneto because he became the head of the X-Men after Charles Xavier's death, and they fight a giant Sentinel robot. And in doing that, Gambit does get killed. I did cry. Very upsetting. We then also have Jean Grey and Scott dying. No, that's a lie. They don't die. They have a baby. And the baby's dying, so they have to send it to the future with Bastion or Bishop. Then we also have Cable coming back, Magneto being put on trial, Charles Xavier being alive and in space, coming back down to Earth, and because of Magneto's death, Rogue goes on a rampage. Storm loses her powers trying to protect Magneto and gets them back after fighting a demon owl. And then we have the X-Men splitting up into teams and fighting against each other as Bastion, the main villain, brings out a load of Sentinel warriors Sentinel human hybrids to destroy all mutants. They succeed in blowing up his ship and blowing up the asteroid. However, in doing so, sends them to different time periods, with Jean Grey and Cyclops going to the future, and everyone else going to the past. And then it says to be continued, and that's where it ends. So that was a very quick sort of rough summary of just bullet points of what happened. I think I got all the main things that happened, but again, I do want you to watch it for yourself, so I'm not going to run through it one to one. So you don't know what order things happened. I just said in a rough order of what happens. And it's very exciting, and I love it. Gambit is my favorite character. I was very upset when he died. I genuinely cried when Gambit died. And I was kind of felt betrayed because I also like Nightcrawler, but it felt like Gambit had to die for Nightcrawler to come through. I felt like that, and I kind of felt bad for liking Nightcrawler because what was replaced could never be replaced. I feel like Gambit was done dirty in this series. He was killed, but he went out with such a bang. The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it. It was so fucking good. It was genuinely exciting, and I was shocked when he died. I felt Rogue's pain. I could feel her pain. She did not need to absorb anything. I could feel the sadness in her, and her voice acting was so good. And I think they got majority of the old voice actors back from the original X-Men 97 show, which is also so good. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember. I have it on DVD, but I don't remember the last time I watched it. I'm gonna be honest with you. But Gambit has always been my favorite. I love Gambit, and Jubilee has also been one of my favorites. And I quite liked how they handled Jubilee, but I kind of felt, I don't know, I didn't really like her love story. I didn't like her love story with Sunspot. I felt like that was kind of boring. So I don't know. I felt like that story was kind of mediocre, and I had no interest in it, which was a little bit upsetting because I do like Jubilee, and I don't know. It kind of felt like all my characters were done dirty. Rogue was cool. I felt that it was kind of gross that she went out with Magneto, though. I didn't like that at all. I thought that was a little dirty, but it is comic accurate, so you can't really complain about it. And I liked the sort of build up of like you were able to see Gambit's facial expressions and you were able to see Gambit constantly seeing them be flirtatious and get upset by it, but he never said anything and he always acted fine with Rogue. And you could see that in Rogue that when before he died, she chose him. She chose Gambit and she was going to go back to Gambit, but she didn't have a chance to tell him before he got impaled, which is very sad. I don't know who Morph is. I didn't really like him. He was just kind of there. Morph was just a nothing character. He was just there. He did bring like most of the cameos with like Quicksilver and the Hulk, and I don't know. Morph was just there. I didn't really like him. I'm gonna be honest. He was a little bit of a shit character. Wolverine was underutilized as well. To say he's one of the main X-Men, and Magneto taking all the adamantium out of him was fucking brutal. That was fucking brutal. Seeing all the sort of like metal splurge out of him. That was fucking insane. It was one of the coldest moments Magneto's ever done. Magneto did grow on me. I'm gonna be honest. Throughout the season, I didn't like him at the start, but he grew on me, so I started to like him more and more towards the end. And there was a little bit of confusion with like the duplicate clone of Jean Grey, but it all worked out in the end. The animation style was done so well to mimic the sort of 80s vibe and to mimic the sort of animation style of the 80s, and it looked so clean. I don't know, I feel like it looked too clean at some points, that it wasn't as accurate as it could have been to the sort of 90s, 80s version of the show. I don't know, I just feel like it could have been a little bit better, like just in animation. We also had cameos from Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, and Doctor Strange and Daredevil, and each one of them got a speaking line, which I thought was absolutely incredible. Like, how can you get all these guys? Like, how were they all here? That was insane. However, I was kind of upset by it because I was there for the X-Men, not for any of those guys. It was nice to see them, and I'm glad that they didn't overstay their welcome, but I was there for the X-Men. And I've missed the X-Men, I'm going to be honest. This show reignited my love for the X-Men, and I miss the X-Men so much. I want more X-Men content, so I'm very happy that Deadpool's coming out soon, and I hope we get a good Jubilee and a good Gambit in live action. I hope they do bring Channing Tatum back to play Gambit, because I think he would have been an excellent Gambit. He would have been an absolutely amazing Gambit. Beast was different to how I remember him. He's very quirky and very sort of joke-like, which is different how I remember him. I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect him to be like that. I don't know why. But his voice actor is doing very similar work to what James Gunn is doing by having the voice actors for the animated series also play the live action versions of the characters, which is really cool. And the bit in the trailer where Gambit was being charging at Wolverine's skeleton, that was never in the show. That was never in the show. I didn't fucking see it. I didn't see him charge up Wolverine. I really wanted to. I thought that'd have been sick. I don't remember seeing it in the show. I feel very betrayed. I feel very upset. I wanted to see Gambit and Wolverine have a really nice sort of wombo combo moment, but we didn't. And it's sad. It upsets me. To be fair, the story was really good. The voice acting, excellent. Animation, beautiful. Music. The music gave me fucking chills. That intro, every time, had so much detailing. They changed it. They changed the intro every episode. So they put a lot of effort and a lot of thought into it, with which characters are dying, which characters are going to be in the episode, what sort of teaser bits to show, and it was just so good. And it did upset me, I'm going to be honest. When I did see Gambit no longer be in the intro, I knew he was gone. When Gambit was no longer in the intro, I knew he was gone. I knew he was gone for good, and I need that figure of Gambit. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna buy the Marvel Legends figure of Gambit because he's so fucking cool, and he was done so dirty. He was done so dirty by Rogue, and I have done a Fortnite character challenge on him, and I have done a Lego custom on him, so you can go check both of those out. My love for Gambit is not hidden. My love for Gambit has been out there and will always be out there because he's so fucking good. And I genuinely cannot wait to get this figure. But I don't know. I feel like he was done really dirty with how they killed him. But his last line was so good. The way Rogue mimicked it as well when she was beating the shit out of Bastion with his name was Gambit. Remember it? It was such a good callback, and it just proves how much effort they're putting into this show and how much people care about these characters. They knew they had a banging show. They knew they had a winner when they made this episode 5. This episode 5 is going to be nominated for like a TV Streamy Award, whatever, and they made it in purpose of aiming for one of those, and it's going to fit so well. It's going to do so fucking good. Like, that one line I've quoted so many times. The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it. I've said that so many times in like the past 3 days since watching this show. It is unbelievable. And I just want more X-Men. I want more X-Men now. I genuinely cannot wait for season 2. And people are saying that because we saw Spider-Man and we saw the Hulk and Iron Man and Captain America, we're going to get all the other 90s shows back. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really like the others. I preferred the X-Men one. I'm gonna be honest, the X-Men was my favorite, so I probably won't watch the others. Again, I had them on DVD, but I felt like they didn't have the spark, they didn't have the magic that this one did. They didn't have the sort of pizzazz that this one had. So, without any further ado, this is a 10 out of 10. This is a must watch. Go watch it. It's excellent, and it's very nostalgia fueled, and you'll love it. 100% chef kiss.